Have you ever wondered how ancient armies shaped the civilizations we study and admire today? From the tip of the Egyptian spear to the edge of the Roman gladius, the rise and fall of empires has often been dictated by the strength and strategy of their military forces. Their unique formations, sophisticated weaponry, and calculated tactics have not only shaped the course of battles, but the very fabric of civilizations. In the heart of the desert, the armies of ancient Egypt emerged as one of the earliest organized forces, their might tested in battles like Kadesh against the formidable Hittites. Further west, the classical Greek city-states relied on their citizen soldiers, the hoplites, who fought shoulder to shoulder in phalanx formations, their bravery immortalized in epics of Marathon and Thermopylae. Then there was the Roman Empire, its military prowess unmatched, its legions dominating the ancient world for centuries. The backbone of this formidable force was its heavy infantry, supported by auxiliary troops and cavalry, all well-equipped with segmented armor and deadly weapons. To the east, in the vastness of the Achaemenid Empire, the diverse Persian armies reigned. At the core of their forces were the Immortals, an elite infantry unit known for their psychological warfare and extensive logistics networks. In the Far East, the ancient Chinese armies were pioneers in warfare, introducing the use of crossbows, iron and bronze weapons, and chariots. The Qin and Han dynasties in particular created large, well-organized forces, their grandeur captured in the terracotta army. The Mongol hordes, under the leadership of Genghis Khan, were a force like no other. Known for their mobility and speed, they relied on cavalry archers and advanced tactics to rapidly expand their empire. Lastly, the ancient Indian armies with their elephant corps and chariots showcased advanced warfare techniques. The Mauryan army under Chandragupta Maurya and later empires significantly used war elephants in battles. Each of these armies, with their unique structure, strategy, and equipment, reflected the geography, economy, and culture of their respective civilizations. They were instrumental in the expansion and defense of their empires, their tactics and organization continuing to be studied and admired. Let's start our journey in the sands of Egypt, where one of the earliest armies was established. In the land of pyramids and pharaohs, military might was born. The armies of ancient Egypt, established during the periods of the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms, were among the earliest to march the face of the earth. In the beginning, Egyptian armies were primarily infantry forces. They brandished weapons as simple as bows and spears, and yet they were an imposing presence. As time moved forward, so did their strategies and weaponry. Chariots, once a novelty, became a mainstay in their military operations, adding a new level of sophistication to their arsenal. The New Kingdom period, spanning from the 16th to the 11th century BC, was particularly transformative. It marked the rise of professional soldiers, men who dedicated their lives to the art of warfare. Their weaponry evolved as well, boasting more advanced tools of destruction. Copper and bronze were shaped into axes, swords, and shields, providing Egyptian warriors with an edge, quite literally. One of the most pivotal moments in Egypt's military history was the Battle of Kadesh. Here, the Egyptian army, led by Pharaoh Ramses II, faced off against the Hittites in one of the largest chariot battles ever recorded. Ramses, despite being caught in a Hittite ambush, managed to rally his forces and stave off defeat, showcasing the military prowess that had made Egypt a dominant force. The Battle of Kadesh was more than just a display of Egyptian military might. It was a testament to their tactical acumen, their ability to adapt and overcome in the face of adversity. The Egyptians were not just warriors, they were strategists, innovators, soldiers who understood that the battlefield was as much a place of the mind as it was of the sword. Yet the Egyptian armies were not invincible. Their dominance would eventually wane, their mighty empire falling to the armies of Alexander the Great. But their legacy, their contributions to the art of war, remain etched in the annals of history. From the banks of the Nile, we now move to the cradle of Western civilization, Greece. In the land of gods and philosophers, the concept of citizen soldiers thrived. Enter the ancient Greek armies, a force to be reckoned with from the 8th century BC to 146 BC. These armies were primarily composed of hoplites, citizen soldiers who were neither professional warriors nor mercenaries, but everyday men who took up arms to defend their city-states. The hoplite was the backbone of the Greek armies. Each hoplite was equipped with a spear and a shield, usually made of bronze or wood and covered in a thin layer of metal. This shield, known as a hoplon, was not only a defensive tool but also a weapon in its own right, used to bash and push enemies during the heat of battle. The most distinctive feature of the Greek armies, however, was their battle formation, the phalanx. Imagine a tight, rectangular mass of soldiers, shields interlocked, spears pointing forward, marching as one indomitable unit. This formation was not only a practical means of defense and attack, but also a reflection of the Greek ethos of unity and cooperation. The phalanx was a testament to the fact that the strength of the Greek armies lay not in individual heroism, but in collective action. The effectiveness of the hoplites and the phalanx formation can be seen in famous battles like Marathon and Thermopylae. At the Battle of Marathon, a vastly outnumbered Athenian army managed to defeat the mighty Persian force, marking a turning point in the Persian Wars. Then there's the legendary Battle of Thermopylae, where 300 Spartans, along with several thousand allies, held off a Persian army reputedly in the hundreds of thousands for 3 days. These battles epitomize the tactics, bravery, and resilience of the Greek armies. But the Greek era was not to last forever. As the city-states squabbled among themselves, a new power was rising in the West, a power that would build on the lessons of Greek warfare to create an army that would dominate the ancient world for centuries. As the Greek era waned, a new power rose in the West, Rome. In Rome, a new kind of military force emerged that would dominate the ancient world. This force was the Roman legion, a formidable engine of war that would carve out an empire and hold it together for centuries. The Roman army evolved from a militia of citizens into a professional fighting force. The backbone of this force was the legion, a unit of heavy infantry. Over time, the Roman legions transformed from an ad hoc assembly of citizens called to fight when needed, to a standing army of career soldiers trained and ready to march at a moment's notice. Each legionnaire was a highly trained and disciplined warrior. They were equipped with the finest gear of the time, including the lorica segmentata, a type of segmented armor that offered excellent protection while still allowing for mobility. In their hands they wielded the gladius, a short double-edged sword designed for close combat, and the pilum, a type of javelin that could penetrate enemy shields and armor. But the Roman legions were not just about brute force. They were also masters of strategy and tactics. The Romans refined the use of formations, allowing them to adapt to different types of terrain and enemy tactics. The famous testudo, or tortoise formation, is a perfect example of this, with soldiers forming a shield wall to protect against enemy arrows and projectiles. And let's not forget the auxiliary troops and cavalry that supported the legions. From the swift and deadly light cavalry to the heavy infantry auxiliaries, these forces provided a variety of tactical options for the Roman generals, allowing them to adapt to any battlefield situation. The Roman legions were a testament to the power of organization, discipline, and innovation in warfare. Their tactics, equipment, and training set the standard for future armies, and their legacy can still be seen in today's military structures. As Rome was building its empire, another was rising in the East, Persia. But that, dear listener, is a story for another scene. In the vast expanse of the Achaemenid Empire, a diverse and complex military was born. This army, known as the Persian army, was as vast and varied as the empire it served, encompassing units from all corners of its territory. The Persians were renowned for their use of psychological warfare, a technique that played on the fears and anxieties of their enemies. They would use elaborate displays of power, such as parading their immense armies or showcasing the vastness of their empire to intimidate and demoralize opposing forces. This was not just a show of force, it was a calculated strategy to win battles even before they began. The Persian army was also known for its extensive logistics network. They built a vast system of roads and relay stations, allowing them to move troops, supplies, and messages across their immense empire with remarkable speed. This network was so efficient that it would later serve as the model for the Roman cursus publicus and the Mongol yam. But perhaps the most iconic element of the Persian army was the immortals. This elite infantry unit was the heart of the Persian military machine. Named for their policy of immediately replacing fallen soldiers, the immortals presented an image of an undying, unyielding force, further enhancing the psychological impact of the Persian army. They were heavily armed and trained to fight in any conditions, making them a formidable force on the battlefield. The Persian army was not just about size and spectacle. It was a carefully crafted machine, employing a mix of light infantry, heavy cavalry, and chariots to adapt to any battlefield. Each unit had a specific role, and they worked together seamlessly to outmaneuver and overpower their enemies. This innovative and efficient military machine was central to the success of the Achaemenid Empire, allowing it to maintain control over its vast territories and fend off invaders. They were a force to be reckoned with, a testament to the power and sophistication of ancient Persian civilization. From Persia, let's journey to the Far East, to ancient China. In China, ancient armies showcased early innovations in military technology. This land of dynasties and emperors was also a crucible for military advancement, with armies that introduced the world to the power of crossbows, iron, and bronze weapons. Let's start with the Shang dynasty, where the use of bronze weaponry was widespread. These sturdy, sharp tools of war were a testament to China's advanced metallurgy skills of the time. The warriors of the Shang dynasty were also known for their chariots, which provided them with superior mobility and tactical advantage on the battleground. As we move forward in time to the Zhou dynasty, we see the introduction of iron weapons. This transition was a game-changer. Iron was harder and more durable than bronze, allowing for the creation of more deadly and effective weapons. This shift in technology marked the beginning of the Iron Age in China and gave Chinese armies a significant edge in warfare. Now let's talk about the crossbow. Introduced during the Warring States period, the crossbow was a revolutionary weapon. It was easy to use, had a long range, and its bolts could penetrate armor, making it a formidable addition to the Chinese arsenal. Its use became so widespread that Sun Tzu, the famed military strategist, wrote about it in his treatise, The Art of War. Moving towards the Qin and Han dynasties, we witnessed the creation of large, well-organized military forces. The terracotta army buried with China's first emperor Qin Shi Huang provides an extraordinary glimpse into the organization and equipment of these ancient soldiers. Each life-sized warrior, unique in appearance, was armed with real weapons, demonstrating a high level of sophistication in the military organization of the time. The evolution of Chinese armies reflects the ingenuity and strategic thinking of ancient China. Their early adoption of advanced weaponry and well-structured military formations played a crucial role in shaping the course of Chinese history. From China, we move to the vast steppes of Mongolia. Let's explore the lightning-fast horsemen and the devastating tactics of the Mongol hordes next. On the vast steppes of Mongolia, a mobile and ruthless force emerged. In the 12th to 14th centuries, the Mongol hordes, under the leadership of the fearsome Genghis Khan and his successors, carved an empire that spanned the globe. The Mongol army was primarily composed of cavalry archers, a tactical choice that reflected the Mongols' nomadic lifestyle. These horsemen were not just soldiers, they were skilled horse archers, capable of firing arrows with deadly accuracy while galloping across the battlefield. The Mongols' horses were small but sturdy, capable of covering great distances without tiring. This allowed the Mongols to execute rapid, devastating attacks, often before their enemies even had time to prepare. The Mongols were masters of psychological warfare. They used fear as a weapon, spreading terrifying tales of their ruthlessness and brutality. This strategy often caused cities to surrender without a fight, saving the Mongols the trouble of a siege. They also utilized a sophisticated communication system known as the Yam, a network of horse stations that allowed messages and orders to be relayed quickly across the vast Mongol Empire. Their tactics were not just about brute force. The Mongols were strategic thinkers. They would often feign retreat, luring their enemies into an ambush. They also adapted their tactics based on their enemies, adopting new weapons and strategies as needed. But perhaps the most impressive aspect of the Mongol army was its discipline and organization. The Mongol horde was divided into units of tens, hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands, each with its own leader. This hierarchical structure allowed for efficient command and control, even in the heat of battle. The Mongol hordes were a formidable force, their mobility, speed, and ruthless efficiency making them one of the most feared armies in history. Their influence can still be felt today in the vast swaths of Asia and Europe that were once part of their empire. Leaving the steppes, let's journey to the diverse lands of India. In the Indian subcontinent, ancient armies showcased a unique blend of infantry, cavalry, and elephants. The Mauryan army, under the reign of Chandragupta Maurya, demonstrated advanced warfare techniques, including the significant use of war elephants. These majestic beasts, armored for battle, were used not only for their crushing power, but also for the psychological impact they had on enemy forces. Similarly, the Gupta Empire maintained a well-structured army, with a robust elephant corps and chariots. The infantry and cavalry were highly disciplined, employing intricate formations and tactics on the battlefield. These armies were not only shaped by the geography and economy of the subcontinent, but also reflected the rich culture and innovative spirit of their time. Their strategic use of the elephant corps, combined with their skilled infantry and cavalry, made them a formidable force. These armies, each unique in their way, shaped the civilizations they belonged to, and their echoes can still be heard in the annals of history.